morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome in. Hopefully, you all had a good weekend. We've got lots to talk about. Fantasy Football Expo was over the weekend. Dewan, thank you. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm officially old now, so I don't know. I don't really know how to go about this. Yeah, it's like a weird feeling. Nathan, what's up? So, all right, we have lots to talk about. Fantasy Expo, fantasy football. We've got I think we got to talk offensive player of the year. I don't think I gave those picks out last week. I think if I remember correctly, we talked Super Bowl and MVP. And I'm also going to add a win total, I think. Do my knees hurt yet? Yeah, that's probably Hey, Dewan, I don't play flag football. I'm not a professional football player like yourself. So I still have some knee strength left. But we're going to talk offensive player of the year. Also, I'm going to add another win total as well, so we can talk about that. I have a bet on this team to make the playoffs, which we talked about last week, but I like their win total as well. So we'll talk about that now that we actually have some stuff to go off of with that first weekend of preseason action. And then I've got some more updates to the rankings coming. Guru, thank you. Appreciate you. Got some updates there. I'm going to move. I don't know about moving them up. I'm more interested in Tony Pollard with Tyjae Spears going down. I know Spears, like, he might miss like the first week or two. He'll probably be back after that. But it's kind of that in correlation with just the Titans in general. So I'll just give it away. The win total that I'm going to add is going to be the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to be taking them over wins. Their offensive line really stuck out to me. Their starting unit that played with Cam Ward on Friday night. They looked really good. And that was something when we talked about, because I took them to make the playoffs at like almost plus 400. I said I thought their offensive line was going to be really, really improved. And it looked really good. So I think Tony Pollard probably should get a little bit of bump up anyways. And then kind of add in Tyjae Spears potentially missing a few games. I'm going to be more interested in clicking him in my drafts. And then I think RJ Harvey should be elevated a little bit to, just given the role that we saw from him in that first game for the Broncos. Yeah, Dickerson getting hurt, Nathan, that is a big deal. I don't think it affects a ton because the Eagles have a very good offensive line overall. So they're one of the few teams that can afford and kind of overcome that. But it's not good. I mean, he's one of the best linemen in the league. So I would love to get some positive news. I saw he's getting MRIs today. Hopefully it's not like a season ender. Because yeah, that would suck for sure. And I just drafted Hurts on Saturday at the Expo. In my draft Saturday, I just drafted Jalen Hurts on that team. We can go over that team too. Maybe I'll pull it up and we can talk about it. Yeah, agree, Dewan. Thank you, Ryan. Decided to keep Chase Brown over London in one league. I remember you asked me about that, Ryan. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I can just tell you guys, based off of a lot of the conversations I had at the Expo over the weekend, and where I'm gonna end up with my rankings, I'm gonna have Chase Brown. I'm just gonna have him way higher than anyone else. So that's gonna be my big flag plant this year. We'll see if it works out. You guys know I have no problem. I have no problem kind of planting my flag on someone and just going all in. So I'm gonna have him on like all of my teams. I'm gonna have him at like RB5 or 6, and I don't think anyone else even has him near there. So I'm gonna be way higher on him, and I'm fine with it. Also, I'm firmly local coffee shop over chain, but we got to shout out Seven Brew coming in. They're moving up my ranks right now, and we're looking for sponsors. So Seven Brew, I'm sure you're watching my 11:30 a.m. fantasy football stream. If you guys want a sponsorship spot, have your people reach out to my people, and we'll see if we can get that Seven Brew sponsorship done. I would love to collab with you guys because they're rocketing up my coffee rankings right now. I don't know like what area they're in. I don't know if you guys have Seven Brew near you, but it's pretty good. All right, so fantasy. Before we get into like bets and all that stuff, Fantasy Football Expo. If you guys have never been, it was awesome per usual. So I was there obviously representing Rolling Insights, and we had a booth on Sunday. So if you guys stopped by the booth, if you guys attended, thank you guys. If you came up and talked to me. So Friday, it's basically there's like a big party with everyone. Saturday, there's drafts all day at various locations, and then another huge party on Saturday night. And then Sunday, there's panels, people speaking, and there's like 50 or 60 companies that have booths set up, and everyone going, walks through, can see all the booths, can listen to the panels. I actually was on one of the panels last year and spoke about prop betting at the Expo. And then this year it was a lot of, like bigger name fantasy analysts, but it was a good time. If you guys have never attended and you love fantasy football, I would say, give it a run and try it out next year. I know Bob and Nate that run the Expo pretty well, especially Bob because he lives close by me, just being in Ohio. So yeah, they're good guys, and I had a great time once again. I think that was my third or fourth year attending, and it was great as always. So if you guys have never been, I would recommend going and checking it out in the future. I think next year it's earlier. So typically it's been the weekend after like the Hall of Fame game and all the Hall of Fame festivities here in Canton. I think next year it's going to be the week before. So it's the last weekend in July, I think. I think I saw that. Jim, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Also, big article, How to Draft Your Team, is almost done. It should be out tonight. So watch my Twitter, the Rolling Insights Twitter as well. And as soon as that is published, which should be today at some point, I will tweet that out, and then we'll go through it on stream tomorrow. I think would be my plan. I'll publish it later today, and we'll run through it tomorrow. All of my drafts, like my bigger money drafts, I'm planning to stream those. So there'll probably be quite a bit of like night streams coming. We'll still do our normal stream, so it'll just be like extra, but there's going to be some days as we head into the later part of August where we do 2 streams in a day because all of my bigger drafts, I'm planning to stream those. So I know I have a pretty big one. I think $300 buy-in on the 28th. That's a Thursday at night. So that'll be a stream. I want to do a couple like main event teams or something like that, and I'll look to stream those as well as we head towards the start of the season. Also, first look video for the DFS pricing will be coming out very soon. I wanted to do it late last week, but I just got too caught up with doing the preseason content and then getting ready for the Expo. That will be up very, very soon. So I'll do a first look, first reaction to the pricing. And then during week 1, like when we actually get to that first week in September, I will do my normal week 1 video. So you'll have like a 3-week period where you can look at the preview video. And then once we hit September 1st, I'll put out the actual week 1 video once we have a little bit more information once we've gotten to the close of the preseason. Guru, you asked about Hunter playing both sides. It doesn't worry me. Honestly, I was going to during the season we'll be back on Twitch. Yes, I'm gonna work. I think we're gonna add this stream to my Twitch every day as well. So just look for that. That's coming soon. But at least the Sunday morning streams will be on Twitch as well. But I think we're gonna add just all of the streams to my Twitch too. So that should be coming pretty soon. I'll talk to some people about that this week. I don't play a ton of best ball, Jim, but I'm gonna do. I don't have anything against best ball. It's just I kind of like use the summer. I bet on golf. I bet on baseball. I kind of use that as my betting. If I were to do best ball, I would want to go in like pretty big on it. I'm not saying I won't do that in the future, but I am gonna do one bigger best ball draft for probably on DraftKings, and that's fitting in with the stream. So I'll stream that draft whenever I do it, but it's probably gonna be closer to the start of the season. Let me pull up DraftKings. I think DraftKings is a little bit softer than Underdog personally. So if I'm going to do a bigger dollar team, I would probably rather do it there. But let me just see. So looking at the DraftKings tournaments, maybe we'll do the $100 3 max here. Maybe I'll do 3 in that, or I would do the $250 single entry. One of those two. I'll do 3 100 teams, or I'll do the $250 single entry, and I'll do that draft more towards the season, and I'll stream it whenever I do it. Maybe we'll do one in the morning. I don't know like how often these fill though, so I don't know. I'll have to try and get in it, and then once it fills, I will go live and draft on the stream. Let's see. I want to look at like the payout structures. I don't hate this like $33 10 max. Maybe we could do that. I don't know if I want to do 10 drafts though. The 250 payout structure is 30K to first. It looks like. And then the $100 3 max has a way bigger pool. So that's 100K to first. But that's 5,500 people. The 250 is 864. So, I mean, that's more similar to like the DFS contests I would play. Let me just look at Underdog real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would rather do like the 3 max or the single entry than get in like the big dog or something like that. So the big dog's 2,100 for like the entry. A lot bigger prize pool though, obviously 200K to first. But I'd rather do like that DraftKings one. So I'll probably do that and I'll stream it whenever I do it. Maybe we can do a community survivor pool. Last year was a disaster. Are you? Yeah, 100%, Guru. We can definitely do that. And just to like let you know, I've told you guys over the course of summer, once we get towards the season, I'll release the content schedule. But it's going to be a lot of content every day for NFL this year, and I am doing survivor pool content. Probably no written blogs, but I'll have a video every week for survivor pools. Even if I end up getting eliminated in mine, we are building a data space on SportWise, similar to what we had last year, to rank out survivor pool picks for the week. So I'll do a video. It'll be like a shorter, like 10 to 15 minute, recorded YouTube video, but we will have survivor pool content, and I would definitely be down to do one with the stream, with our Discord community and stuff like that. So if you're not in the Discord, you can join right now. Go to rollinginsights.com, scroll down to the bottom with those social links and hop in the Discord. But yeah, we can definitely do something like that for sure. That'd be fun. It doesn't have to be like crazy high entry fee either. Just something, and we can just do it for fun mainly, and we can talk about it on the streams and stuff. All right. But yeah, so watch for my article later today, this afternoon, this evening. I'll tweet it out, and then we can run through it on stream tomorrow. And then I think, Ryan, you asked last week, I think, if there was a way to view last year's article. Obviously the website that I wrote for previously is no longer in existence, so I can't access the actual article, but I have the file myself, because I save everything that I write on my own end. So I can throw that into like a Google file, and I'll link it in the intro to this year's article. So if you want to go back and check exactly what I wrote last year and the players I highlighted, I'll link that in the intro to this year's article, and you can click it and go back and read. As far as Opoi goes, we pull the odds up here. I took, I think, 3 picks. Let me fact check that for you guys. Yeah, I took 3 picks, and I might actually add a 4th one, but for right now, I took Nico Collins at 20-1 on DraftKings. So he's 16-1 on FanDuel, 20-1 on DraftKings. Much better odds over there. But I did take Nico Collins. I think he can have a really, really big season. I think the Texans' offensive line is going to be really bad again. If we think back to last year, they had a terrible offensive line, and that definitely impacted the team's offensive performance. But one thing that really stuck out for them last year was Joe Mixon had, 1,000 yards, 250 rush attempts. He scored 11 touchdowns. And he had a very, very big red zone role as well when you boil it down. Let me pull it up, and I can give you the exact numbers. For 2024, if we look at attempts inside the 20, he was tied for 4th overall. 4th most attempts inside the 20 in the entire NFL was Joe Mixon. If we look at inside the 10, he was up there again, 29. That's 6th best in the NFL. And then kind of the same, he had 12 attempts inside the 5. So he was very, very involved in the red zone. And he's really hurt right now. I don't know if he's going to be ready to start the season. And they don't really have any other running backs of consequence. They've got Dameon Pierce. They've got Woody Marks, the rookie. But I don't expect their rushing attack to be quite as potent as it was last year. I think the offensive line is going to be as bad or even worse than it was last year. And I just don't expect Joe Mixon, kind of aging, already coming into the season very banged up. I don't expect to have quite as big of a season this year. And I think that a lot of that's going to fall on Nico Collins. Nico Collins was essentially the 2nd, 3rd, 4th best receiver in the NFL statistically when he was on the field last year. He missed some time, and that's certainly a factor. He could get hurt, but if he's on the field, I think he's going to have an absolutely monster season. And I like him. And it's kind of like we know the Texans are going to be in the playoff mix, so we don't have to worry about their team being bad. So I like him at 20-1. He was my first pick. I also put in Malik Neighbors at 30-1, 35-1 actually here on FanDuel. This one is a little bit riskier, and that's why the number is so much bigger, 35-1 in comparison to 20-1, because the Giants probably aren't going to be very good. But Malik Neighbors has a path that very few players in the NFL do, of just being the absolute focal point of their offense. he had an absolutely I don't have any faith in Chubb, Guru. No, I don't think I just don't think I think his body let him down, and I don't know if he can overcome that, to be honest with you. Malik Neighbors is having a monster training camp, which is no surprise. He had a huge rookie season, 170 targets. We were on top of that last year. I told you guys I thought he was going to break the rookie target record. He had 109 catches, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, playing with as bad of quarterback play as you could possibly get. He's going to see an increase in that this year. His game, if we start the season with Russell Wilson at quarterback, which we're going to, I think stylistically they fit very well together. Malik Neighbors can win deep balls. Russell Wilson loves to throw deep balls. So while the Giants aren't going to be very good, Malik Neighbors is one of the few players that has a path to just like a historically strong season. So I don't necessarily think he's going to win, but I do think there's some value at 35-1. And I don't really know how much of him I'll have in my fantasy drafts this year. So this is a little bit of a way to hedge that as well. And then I also have Drake London. He's 50-1 on DraftKings. I love Drake London. He had a monster season last year and really, really took off when Michael Penix took over as quarterback. And I mean, you guys can tell we've talked about it a few times on the stream. When we went over the playoff picks and that stuff, I'm very high on the Falcons this year. So I think that there's a ton of value here. I think if the Falcons outperform expectations, then Drake London is going to play a big part in that. And if we look at those games that Michael Penix started last year, Drake London saw 8 targets, 13 targets, and 18 targets. And he went over 100 yards in 2 of those. I think just a really, really good spot for him, especially if the Falcons are going to take that step forward, which I think they will. So I like Drake London at 50-1 on DraftKings. Those are my 3 Offensive Player of the Year picks. Now, I said there might be some more I add. I would be interested in Bijan just fitting with the Falcons' love and kind of capitalizing on that. So Bijan, I think, could be added for me. I'd have to check around and see odds. He's the one I would be most interested in adding at current odds. Rookie of the year, I'm probably going to pick Cam Ward. I'll probably put a big bet on this, especially because I think the Titans have a decent shot to make the playoffs. So if Cam Ward leads the Titans to the playoffs, he's going to win. He's going to win this award. And McMillan would probably be my other pick. He looked really that's one thing that stuck out to me Friday night. Bryce Young looked so good. And you guys know I love Dave Canales. I was high on, Bryce Young kind of correct. I know he had the bad rookie season. I know he got benched early on last season, but he played great down the stretch. And that was something I was high on coming into last season. I thought that the Panthers were going to take a step forward offensively with Dave Canales. I think Dave Canales can really get Bryce Young cooking. I mean, he was a number 1 overall pick for a reason. He looked very good. He looked very confident to me on Friday night, throwing with anticipation, which that's what he did so well to me at Alabama. Sometimes those big-time college schools, it's hard to evaluate quarterbacks because the talent that they play with is so much higher above everybody else. It's hard for them to not look good. But that's one thing that always stuck out to me with Bryce Young at Alabama. Even though a lot of his players were open all the time, he threw with really, really good anticipation, and that stuck out to me on Friday night. A couple of those throws he made were fantastic. That one he made to T-Mac in the end zone, and McMillan dropped it. He's not going to drop those in the regular season. So I'm definitely more interested in McMillan for my season-long teams now that I saw that. And I think he could certainly have a big statistical season. And if the Panthers make the playoffs or in the playoff mix, I could see him, being a big part in that. And he would definitely be a front runner for this award. So I think there's some value on him, but Cam Ward probably will end up being my pick. I don't know how much I'll bet it at 3-1, but I am a little bit interested there. Overall, that about does it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Reminder, big. What round is McMillan getting drafted in? Let me pull up the ADP. I think it's like in that. I think he's like in that range with like JMO and Rice and like Sutton and those guys. Let me pull it up. Right now, it looks like he is wide receiver 20 in ADP. So this is a consensus ADP from a number of different websites, and he's about 22 on average, 46th overall. So he goes right around DJ Moore, Xavier Worthy, Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf. I like him over all those guys. Worthy, I think you could make a case for, but I would certainly take T-Mac over DJ Moore. I'd take him over Sutton. I'd take him over McLaurin. I'd take him over Metcalf. I think for me, I'm a little bit higher than consensus on JMO, Pickens, Devonta. I would probably have him in that range right after like it's weird for me because my rankings, like I rank my guys based off how I would pick them. So my rankings always look a little bit wonky compared to most people's rankings because I'm way higher on guys and I'm way lower on guys, and it's because I'm just ranking it out how I would draft. So if we came up in my draft and you have like Chase, Lamb, Jefferson, Neighbors, St. Brown, Nico, Puka, BTJ, London, AJ Brown, McConkey, T. Higgins, JSN, like that would be like my top like 13. And I would personally rather wait. And this is how my drafts are breaking down. And you guys will see this when you read my article. I don't really want to draft receivers in that round like 3-4 range. It's a really, really weird year for me because I have the next tier of receivers all ranked ahead of those receivers that go in round 3 and 4. So for me personally, I'd rather wait to the 40 to 50 range. I would rather have JMO, Pickens, Devonta, Zay Flowers, Waddle, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley. I would rather have all those guys over Marvin Harrison Jr., Tyreek. Like Tyreek is the WR12 on the board right now. I would honest to God rather have JMO, Pickens, Ridley. I'd rather have all those guys. So I don't see a need for me to draft receivers in that range. So I'm probably going to be like taking running backs early and then just really hitting receiver later on because I'd rather have two of JMO, Pickens, Devonta, T-Mac, Waddle, Travis Hunter. I like Ridley a lot. I've never really been in on Calvin Ridley. I love him this year. I've never really been on Waddle. I love him this year. I love Travis Hunter where he's going. Like I love all these guys. So I'd rather be taking receivers in that range than any other position. So I'll probably lean a bit running back early and focus on those guys because I have those guys all ranked ahead of these guys that go before them anyways. So I have no reason to draft those guys. But I'm going to be moving McMillan up a little bit. I'm probably going to have him like 15, 16 range. So he's 22 right now on the board, wide receiver. I'd have him like 6, 7 spots higher personally. But I like him a lot after seeing that. I'm going to have a lot of Calvin Ridley. I'm going to have a lot of Travis Hunter. I like Pickens a lot. Man, I don't know. There's a lot of good mid receivers this year, man. I really like that range. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck tonight if you're betting or playing MLB, anything like that. Tomorrow we'll do 11 a.m. stream probably, same time as today, and we'll run through my draft article and talk about that. Maybe we'll do a mock draft or something and kind of demonstrate the article. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. Have a good day, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.